you ready to rock out with? Hosted by me, Danny Faith. Hello and welcome to Rock Out With. You've been playing solo shows recently, supporting Mike Tramp. Not Trump. God, Mike Tramp. My bad for getting your name wrong, mate.
Yeah.
How have they been going?
They've been great. Yeah, they've been really cool. I've actually played with Mike before back in 2019 is right before all the COVID stuff, and I do a lot of these sort of like solo acoustic shows. I did a tour with Ted Poley from Danger back in March, and I've done 4 shows so far with Mike Tramp. So we did Stoke, we did Grimsby, we did Sheffield, and then we did Bradford on Tuesday night. I've got one more with him on September 1st. I'm playing in London with him. But yeah, it's been great. We've been getting along great. I mean, Mike Tramp's always been one of my sort of idols, you know, when I was growing up and stuff. So it's really cool to do shows with him and just, you know, have a good old natter backstage. And it's been great. It's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun.
What songs do you play? Do you play Midnight City songs or some different stuff as well?
On this tour, I've just been doing just all Midnight City stuff. But I do mix it up with because I've been in a lot of bands, you know, over the years. TCC, Sins of America. Obviously, I was in Tiger Tails for 10 years. And I'm missing about 3 other bands. So, sometimes I do mix it up a little bit. But this, especially because the new Midnight City album only came out in June, I've been really just trying to push all the Midnight City stuff. So it's just, it's all, but I'm doing stuff across all 4 albums. So it's not just all the new stuff. I'm doing stuff from the previous 3 albums as well. So yeah, it's been going great, and people have been showing up really early to see me and stuff, which is nice, and the Midnight City T-shirts and stuff, and singing along. So it's been really cool.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Talking of the newest album, it's been getting really rave reviews. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it feels amazing. Because we've put such a lot of work into this album, and that's the thing. I think. Well, obviously, you know, if you're sort of in the know, you kind of get it. But people who aren't might not know just how much work goes into, especially recording an album like In at the Deep End, because it's not just, you know, we're not just one of those bands. It's just bass, drums, guitar. I mean, there's just literally, you would not believe if you saw on each song what goes into each song. I mean, obviously we got layers of guitars, bass, drums. I think there's like four different keyboard parts on each song, the vocals, and just the backing vocals themselves. I mean, it just a monumental amount of work goes into it. So, and it took a long time. You know, it took us like 3 or 4 months to record it, and so to get all these great reviews back is amazing, because it's kind of like, it's just a reward for all your hard work, basically, you know, and busting your ass for like pretty much a year, you know, from writing to the completion of the album. You know, it's pretty much a year out of our lives. So yeah, it's nice to get something back. And like you said, I mean, we've always had good reviews, but this one seems to have just sort of like gone through the roof a little bit, which is great. It's really cool.
Is there any plans to release it on vinyl?
There is, yeah, because we get asked that a lot, and our last one came out on vinyl, Itch You Can't Scratch, but that was with our previous label, but we are hoping to, because we're going to be touring the UK again in April next year, and we're hoping to have the vinyl done for then. So we're looking hopefully getting blue vinyl to go with the album cover, and we're just actually looking into all that at the minute. So fingers crossed, we should have it ready for the April tour.
Yeah, because I know getting it done on vinyl is not the cheapest.
It's not. Good point. And that's the thing. That's the issue, really, because it's so expensive. So you've got to be sure that you're gonna you're going to sell a lot of copies just to make your money back, you know, before you even make any money, because it's everybody's doing it, every band's doing it. It's the cool thing to do now, but yeah, it's a hell of a lot of money. So hopefully our fans will buy it. Otherwise, we're screwed.
Well, you're guaranteed to have one copy sold. So
amazing! Thank you, Danny.
Because I've got the CD, but I've got nothing to play it on.
Well, that's the thing. I know. See, obviously, you're from a very different generation to me, but we get that We get that a lot from people who, they turn up and they buy it, and then they say, "Well, I've got nothing to play it on." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that," you know. But it's one of those things, you know. We're kind of very old school in that respect, as in, like, we like a physical product, you know, and you know, a lot of thought goes into, you know, the artwork and, you know, putting the whole thing together. So, you know, I know everybody streams these days, but you know, what people need to know is that for bands to continue making music and doing what they do, they need you to buy physical product, you know. So whether it's the CD or the vinyl or the T-shirts, and then even if it's just put it on a shelf and just listen to it on Spotify or whatever, but it's supporting the bands, because, you know, making albums definitely is not a cheap process. We spent a lot of money, thousands and thousands on this album. So
and that like 0.00001 of a pence that stream just doesn't cut it.
That's the thing, exactly, and that's what they don't realize, you know, until you actually tell them that, you know, how little money we actually make. I think people do presume that bands are making money from it, and it's just, I mean, it's more of an insult, you know. I'd rather not get paid anything than get, you know, like £3 at the end of the year or something, which is, it's not far off it. I think last year, I mean, the amount of streams we've had, I think it was a minuscule amount, let's put it that way. So we definitely need you to keep buying the CDs and the vinyl and all that.
Yeah, see, the problem I've got is I don't have a CD player. I've just got a vinyl player and a Walkman.
A Walkman? Oh, that's cool. Well, I've heard actually, there's some bands actually doing cassettes as well, which is...
Yeah, cassettes are coming back.
So that might be something, because that was what I grew up on when I was a kid. When I started, you know, buying music, I bought all my music on cassette, and that was my sort of like format. So I'm all up for... doing cassettes. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the next album will just come out on cassette and vinyl. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
What inspires you when you're writing the songs?
Good question. Literally all kinds of stuff, really. I mean, I write everything on an acoustic guitar. So that's sort of how I write songs. I've never actually written a song, you know, plugged into a Marshall, cranking, you know, the guitar up. It just doesn't work for me. I think I just sit with my acoustic guitar, and usually it starts. The music comes first, so I'll come up with the musical idea, and then sort of how the music sounds, how the music feels, sort of dictates what I'm going to sort of write about. You know what I mean? So, like on this album. Like, say, for example, Raise the Dead, with it being, you know, quite an aggressive song, I obviously wasn't going to start writing lyrics about, you know, it wasn't going to be a love song, you know what I mean? So the lyrics go along with sort of the feel of the song. But also, you know, a lot of the stuff I write, you know, it's you know, it's from the heart, you know, it's about real things. And I think that's why people do connect with it, because, you know, even if it's just, you know, like a song like Hardest Heart to Break, which is, you know, everybody's been through that situation, you know, with a breakup, and, you know, and if you haven't, you will, you know, probably once or twice or many times in your life. So when you're writing about stuff that is real, people kind of connect to it and kind of like almost think, well, yeah, you know, I remember feeling like that, you know, and that's what sort of people relate to. So it's mainly about stuff like that, you know, about what's going on around me. Sometimes I write about what's going on. Sometimes I'm really nosy and kind of like write about somebody else's relationship, and quite often times they don't know that I have, which is quite funny. And you know, obviously we write a lot of like fun, happy party songs as well, which is for the most part, what the band's all about, really. But it all really starts with just the musical idea, and then I sort of go from there, really.
Is it just you as the main songwriter, or do the other guys get involved as well? Or
No, I write everything. I always have on all the albums. So what usually happens is I'll write a song, then I'll do a full band demo. So I'll play all the instruments, and then send that to the guys, and then they come up with their parts, and we go from there. But actually, having said that, there is one co-write on this album, which is the last song on the album, like There's No Tomorrow, which was actually Sean's original idea. So and he hasn't actually done any writing before, not with us anyway. So there is one co-write for Sean on this album, but apart from that, it's me, and we just have a formula, like a lot of bands have a formula that works, and most bands have, one songwriter and maybe two. It's very rarely you get all five guys writing. Otherwise, it's just a car crash. There's too many ideas and from different directions, and it's just it's like you're like a headless chicken. So it's kind of like you need a focus as to kind of what direction you're going in. So it's worked for us so far. So far so good.
No, yeah, I get you. Because in mine, I tend to write like poetry, and then I just send that over to the guitarist and just let him do.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Whatever works, whatever works for you, that's the way to do it, really.
So obviously you mentioned you've been in other bands before. What made you want to start Midnite City?
Well, I've been in. I've been in so many bands, and I was in for a long time. I was in a band called TCC, which was sort of like more of a. It was a weird time because I started that band back in 2003. So we're going back, we're going back like 20 years, and at that point in time, hair metal and melodic rock, whatever you want to call it, was just. It was just non-existent. It was dinosaur music that was. If you even attempted to play anything like that, you were just a laughing stock, really. It was just such an old-fashionable style of music. So I was in a really weird position where I was, obviously growing up on all the hair metal bands, but there was no way I could be in. I had been in bands like that prior to that, but then when it got to 2003, I was kind of like, well, and at the time, the only things that were happening in the UK were there was the pop punk stuff, that was really big, and then there was the new metal stuff, and I didn't like either of them really, but I was kind of like, well, you're either going to have to kind of change your sound a little bit, or just not be in a band. So I kind of updated, got my hair cut a little bit, and didn't change direction drastically, but it was a bit more sort of less sort of Poison and Def Leppard, more sort of like Cheap Trick type stuff. And I did that band for well over 10 years, and released a bunch of albums and did a hell of a lot of touring with that. And then that band sort of came to an end at the end of 2016. And at that point, I'd already started writing. There wasn't a band or anything, but I'd pretty much written the first Midnite City album. So we played our final show at the end of November.
Yeah.
And the plan was already in place for Midnite City. And literally the band started like a month later. But it was something that it was finally, I can go back to doing what I've always loved. And because by that point, come 2017, all this stuff's cool again. It's like everything that just in life, you think of the most uncool thing you can think of right now, and I guarantee in 5 or 6 years it'll be happening again. So, but it was great for me because it was like finally I can, I don't have to sort of adapt my sound and my look and my style and everything. I can just go 100% for what I want to do. So that was it really. We just kind of went from there. Got the rest of the guys on board, and the actual band was put together quite easily. So yeah, it actually came together. It was almost like all the planets aligned for once.
Yeah, hair metal kind of came back out of nowhere, didn't it?
It really did, yeah. I mean, and I was just, like, nobody was happier than me, and I was like, suddenly there's a lot of. I started noticing a long time before that, actually, probably in like 2006, 2007, 2008. A lot of those Scandinavian bands are coming through. Crash Diet and Crazy Licks and Reckless Love and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, it seems, it's making a small comeback, and then literally, I mean, it's kind of like, not in the UK, but like in general, in Europe, this style of music is as popular now as, well, obviously it will never be as popular as it was back in the day, but it's certainly as popular as it's been for a long, long time, so.
I don't know, with all the old bands coming back and touring.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, that's true. They're all coming out of the woodwork, aren't they? And then there's bands that have retired that have suddenly unretired.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even get me started on that one, but
they were all right.
Yeah.
They were all right. Obviously, John was playing with them when I went to see them, but
right, yeah,
they did play live.
yeah. They were all right. They were okay. They were, it's better to have them than not have them, I suppose. So.
Oh, yeah. So, what do you enjoy most about touring or band life? Like, what's the pros and cons?
That's a good question. There's only really one pro, and that's actually playing the gig, the show. I mean, that is literally it, because the rest of it I absolutely hate. And it's like, I've been doing this for such a long time, but as you get older, you actually start hating it more. And it's funny, because I was talking to Mike Tramp about this, and he was the same. He was like, the older you get, the less you enjoy. Mainly the traveling, it's the traveling and just all the waiting around, because basically your entire day is about waiting for, an hour and a half, where you're on stage, and the rest is just, it's a lot of traveling. It's so tiring. It's unbelievable. I mean, especially if you're on tour, and you finish a show and then you're off to the next place, and it's another 4-hour drive after the gig, and it wears the life out of you, really. But it's that thing of just being on stage and playing music that keeps you coming back for more. So it's all about the gig. And I mean, we don't get me wrong. We have a good time as well. We have the way to kind of get rid of a lot of that boredom is just, I mean, we have such a laugh, taking a piss out of each other, and as you can imagine, and you have to keep that kind of sense of humor going to kind of keep you sane, really.
Yeah, especially as like it's the level where like people who don't know like just assume everyone's got these great big tour buses, and you're like, no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that very few bands have that, and it's all kind of like a little bit smoke and mirrors, because we're certainly not. I mean, it's either a bus or that we sometimes have, like a 13-seater bus. Sometimes we're turning up in cars and stuff, and that's the reality of it, I mean,
yeah.
And that's, that Mike Tramp he's driving around in a car. The guy sold 3 million albums, so that's sort of the reality of it. I think people do think there's, we're showing up in this nice shiny tour bus, and it's just, it's nothing like that for any band, and any band that says otherwise is full of crap, because everybody's pretty much on the same level, really. So. Yeah,
I spent my childhood with my legs in the car over the amp like this.
Yeah. I've slept in many vans. Yeah. I the one thing I insist on nowadays, though, now we've got a bit older, is unless we can drive, unless we're coming home, it's got to be a hotel. Like I can't rough it anymore. I spent like 15 years, sleeping on floors and you name it, and I can't do that anymore. I've got to have some sort of like creature comforts,
Your back just won't hack it anymore.
Exactly right. You know, I'm getting on. You know what I mean? It's like my back will be knackered. So,
as I mentioned before, we hit record. By the time this airs, you would have already played the HRH Sleaze Festival. Do you think festivals like this are good for the music scene?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, these are. I'd say you know, the Hard Rock Hell stuff is it's the best stuff, really. The best festivals to play in the UK, really, by a long way. I mean, we played a lot of them. We did, in fact, we did on our tour that we did in June. One of the dates was Hard Rock Hell AOR, which was in Leicester. So I think this is, since we've been together, so we've been together like 6-7 years. I think this is our third, because we played Sleaze 2 years ago, and then I think we played it in 2018, and I think we've done about 3 other Hard Rock Hell. So I think this is about a 6th or 7th Hard Rock Hell, and they're always great. They're always great because, you know, there's a guaranteed crowd there, especially the one that we're playing this weekend, the O2 in Sheffield. The stage is awesome, so I can run around like a madman all night, and the rest of the guys, you know, there's a lot of space to run around. The sound's always great in there, and there'll be, you know, probably 3,000 people there. You know, I mean, we got a really good slot. We're on at 7:15, so we're kind of 2 down from the headliner. But they're great. I mean, and we try and get on as many of these as we can, really, because even though we do our own tour, like we do a lot of our own touring, which we did in June. I said we're touring next April as well. Festivals are just, they're great because you can get in front of, I mean, there'll be an absolute ton of our fans there on Saturday, but every time we play, there's always people that come up to us afterwards, and I don't know where they've been because we're pretty active on social media, but they've never heard of us, and they were like, I can't believe it, you know, I'm going to buy all your albums because I've discovered you for the first time today. So, and that happens at every single festival we do, whether we're in Hard Rock Hell or even, you know, in Europe or whatever. So yeah, we could do with more, to be honest. I mean, we're working on a few festivals for next year as well, a couple of them that we've got confirmed last week. So, but yeah, they're great. They're great to play. They really are.
And you've got quite a fan base in Japan as well. How did that come around?
Yeah, we do. We are actually really big in Japan. It was that really happened on our second album. There Goes a Neighborhood, which came out in 2018. And all our albums have been released in Japan, but the first 2 did really well. And yeah, I mean, back in October 2019, we went to Japan and played 2 shows out there, which was just incredible. It was like no other, you know, I mean, we've been all over the world in, you know, played in a lot of countries, yeah, but it really was like landing on Mars or something. It was really weird because, you know, like a lot of European countries are very similar. You know, we played in Australia right before COVID, and Australia was amazing, but that was very much like America. But Japan was just like a whole different ball game, and it was awesome. So we got a huge following over there, and we're actually this is being announced on. It depends when you say this is going out next Tuesday. Okay, so it won't be everybody knows anyway. So on September the 1st, which I believe is next Friday, we're announcing that we're going back to Japan in December. So we're going playing in Osaka and Tokyo. So all the flights are booked, and yeah, I mean that's without doubt that, I mean, that's our favorite place to play. It's just incredible. I mean, it's one of those places that, like, when you're a kid, you always dream of playing in Japan, you know. So yeah, so that's a big one. And Ryan, our new drummer, is very excited because you know, and I've been joking with him. It's like you joined the band like 6 months ago, and within 6 months you're going to Japan. You know, it's like, how does that work? You know, you're one lucky guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Japan is definitely the bucket list.
Yeah, oh my God, it's amazing. It's everything that you probably think it will be, and a lot more, you know.
How do you get do you take all like the equipment there or just instruments and then rent?
We just take instruments. So we just take guitars and and Sean takes his keyboard. The promoter over there will supply all our gear. So we basically tell them what we need, and we just try and make it with stuff like that. And in Europe as well, you got to try and make it as easy as possible, because it's not easy to travel with all that stuff. So it's usually just guitars, and then usually just like a massive case full of merch as well, and then everything's sorted when we get there. So it's all good.
Yeah. What about touring Europe? Because obviously the rules slightly changed since the whole Brexit crap, didn't it?
Yeah, that's a whole minefield, to be honest with you, and that's something that's just absolutely destroyed. It's destroyed it for a lot of bands. I mean, we've been out to Europe a few times. We went to Sweden and Belgium and a bunch of other countries, but obviously that was before all the Brexit stuff came in. But we did manage last September. We played a festival called Indoor Summer out in Hamburg in Germany, and we were a little bit worried about that. We flew in, and we didn't have any issues. I think the issue, I know from other bands, I think it's more. I'm not saying there are. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think the issue is more bands who were traveling in vans and kind of going across the border with all your gear. Because I know from other bands that when you say you're going, you going to play a show in Germany, whatever, and you're in a van or a tour bus, you've got to, when you cross the border, you've got to declare literally every single item of merch you're taking in and out, and it becomes a whole drama. I think it's about like 700 quid to get one of these little. It's like a form that you need to fill in. But obviously, if you're just flying in, you kind of like you kind of go around the obstacle a little bit. So
avoiding it a little.
yeah. So and we got some stuff. Hopefully coming up in Europe next year as well. So we're hoping it's not going to be too too bad. But it has been a bit of a nightmare for a lot of bands. I know a lot of bands who are touring around in vans, and I've heard some horror stories about them getting to like the border and then them just sending them home, and tours got cancelled and all that. But I think we'll just stick to flying. I think it'll be a little bit safe. Yeah, I'll just say I'm there for a holiday. No one's going to know, are they?
Yeah, you just like to wear the same T-shirt all the time.
I've just got 30 identical T-shirts.
Oh dear. So, what out of all the songs in all the world, what song do you wish you'd have written?
Oh God, that's a good song. Good song. Good question. I'm trying to think of the song. That's a good question.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but yeah.
Ooh, well, there's a lot. I'm a massive Kiss freak. It's my all-time favorite band, and there's actually a song. Okay, so I'm a massive Kiss fan, and I'm a massive fan of the songwriter Desmond Child, who I'm sure you've heard of. He's written, you name a massive rock song, he's written it. And there was a song on the Crazy Nights album called "Reason to Live," and that's probably my favorite song of all time. It's kind of like it's a ballad. It's just an amazing song. So I'm always trying to kind of rip that off. Because we all kind of like steal little ideas from bands here and there. Every band does it. So I'm still working on trying to write my Reason to Live. So but that would be it. Yeah.
Well, like you said, we all nick ideas. There's only so many ways you can put a bunch of chords together.
Exactly. Everything's been done, and at the end of the day, literally everything sounds like something else, so long as you've got some sort of originality in there, then the rest is all good.
probably going to know the answer to this one then. If you could rock out with anyone, dead or alive, who's it going to be?
Oh, it's Kiss.
Kiss,
It's got to be Kiss. It's got to be Kiss. They'd have to put me in the makeup though. I'd want my own makeup design. I don't know what I'd be though. I'd have to I'd have to come up with a character, and I would need to be in makeup just to to complete the dream.
Of course.
Yeah.
What about the as a band?
As a band, that's a good question. One thing we would have been amazing on, which of course, as always, didn't come to the UK, was the stadium tour, which was the Motley, Def Leppard, Poison. I think Joan Jett was on it as well, but we could have got rid of Joan Jett and put us on first, and I think that would have been incredible. Getting a band like Midnight City out in like stadiums in America in front of all those people that already love that kind of music, I think we'd have absolutely cleaned up on that. So,
not even for the UK run, you would have been a damn sight better than the crappy band they did have.
I saw that. Yeah, was it Rick
Mama.
Savage's? Oh, okay. Well, we got. I think we might have even got even worse. We got Rick Savage's son. I think they were called the Vivas, and it came on, and they were like, it was like Oasis, jangly guitars, and I'm just like, and I'm there. There's like 30,000 people in a football stadium, and literally everybody's saying the same thing. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And it's kind of I don't get well, I of course I get it. It's his son, he's going to want to give him some exposure, but it certainly didn't do them any good because everybody hated them because everybody's there to see an 80s rock show, So
yeah, well, in London when Mammoth were on, you did know it was very empty.
Yeah,
that stadium just it was empty. Everyone was in the bars.
I saw. Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures. I was like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
But it's all that stuff, it's all like logistics, and it's never, I don't think people ever really, it's all about, actually not logistics, it's all about money. It's all about how much someone will pay to get on something, and it's all, in this business, I've been doing it for long enough to know that it's about two things. Number one, who you know, and number two, how much money you've got. Because if you've got enough money, you can buy onto anything, you want to get on. If you just say, here's 20 grand, can you put us on the support slot for the Kiss tour or whatever? Well, it'd be a lot more than 20 grand, but you know what I mean? Money talks, and also if you know somebody who knows somebody, that's always your way in, so. But it doesn't help bands when you have something that's just a completely different style of music. It's just a complete waste of time. So
yeah, I don't get why tours seem to do that. It's like, at least pick a band that's similar to what the people have paid money to go and see.
Yeah, I don't get it, because they used to do back in the day, when I used to go and see bands, the support bands would always be in a similar style to the headliner, because otherwise, like I say, you get a lot of people just not understanding what's going on. So I don't really know what's changed, but who knows?
I think, like, it's what you said, it's the money.
Yeah, definitely.
They've paid to get on that big slot, and it's
yeah.
Oh, anyway, what are your social medias so people can find you?
Right, so we're obviously on Facebook, which is just Midnight City UK. Instagram at Midnight City Official. We're on Twitter, which is just Midnight City UK again. And that's it. I draw the line at TikTok, which I know
TikTok's great. You should join it.
Well, all the kids keep telling me I need to get down with the kids and get on TikTok, and I keep getting told, and I'm just like, I'm too old. I kind of like, I do all the social media for the band, so I'm kind of like, that takes up, as it takes up a lot of time, across. I mean, we're not that active on Twitter, to be honest with you. So we're mainly Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, I keep getting told about the TikTok thing. So
it is a lot less kids on there. I'll just say that.
Oh, okay. All right. So I won't look stupid being on there then.
No, it's a lot more like late 20s, 30s, 40s.
Oh, okay. All right then. I'm in somewhat of that ballpark.
Yeah,
So,
we've sort of pushed the kids away. Like, nah, this is
oh,
our app.
okay. Well, maybe I should give it a go. I think actually, if I remember rightly, on our last album, because we were with a different record label, and they had they actually had like this young kid who was the like PR, not PR, the social media guy, and he was for a while he took over all so he was doing all the posts. And we did actually, I'm sure we had a TikTok page set up. I'm sure we did. I'm sure there's like a couple of, I didn't do any of them, but I'm sure Sean might have done something on there. So I'm going to have to investigate that and get on there. And then, also we got like an old fashioned website, which is just midnitecity.com. And that's got a link. The good thing about that is that's got a link to all our merch and stuff, because our merch now goes through a merchandise company, which means that we've got like about 10 different t-shirt designs and all kinds of goodies. So
And your
so,
Japan dates are already up on the website.
they are. Yes, well spotted. I put them up. I actually didn't think anybody noticed, but there you go. So they're up. So it's like the worst kept secret in the world. It's like we've been told don't say anything until September the 1st, and like literally everybody knows. So it's going to be like we're going to do the big post, and then everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, well we already knew that. It's also on the back of our tour shirt, which was sort of gives the game away, you know.
Yep. What's your favourite song off of In at the Deep End? I know it's like choosing between your children, but
it is. You know what? My favorite song is "Hardest Heart to Break." I just think that's such a good song. I mean, obviously, I'm very biased, but I knew when I finished writing it, I knew that it was going to be quite a big song for us, and also I just think the whole album has been recorded great, you know, and we used a different guy to mix the album, you know, a very big name, a guy called Chris Laney to mix it, and I think that song just how it sounds, the whole production. You know, I think Miles' solo is brilliant on it. Sean's keyboards are amazing. I don't know. I just think everything's. I mean, it really does sound like, and that was the whole intention of it. It sounds like something that could have been, you know, on MTV in like 1988. You know, so yeah. But if you were to ask me tomorrow, I'd probably give you a different song. I also think the video was quite cool as well, because we tried to go for that kind of grainy 80s kind of look. So it was kind of almost like we took, it was kind of like Sean's idea to kind of get that grainy, what was that, the Motley Crue video, the black and white one, the ballad, You're All I Need. It's got that kind of graininess, a bit like Wingers, Miles Away. And, you know, a lot of those videos from back in the day, and it kind of just goes really well with it, how 80s the song sounds as well. So
yeah, back when MTV had music videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So my favourite one on there is Beginning of the End.
You know what's cool about that is I think that's most people's favourite song, which again is great, because there's, you know, that was kind of like almost like more of an album song really. But everybody loves that song. So I think we're going to have to start like playing it live at some point, because a lot of people keep asking us, you know, when we're going to play that one. So yeah, that's a good one as well.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good one to hear live.
Yeah, definitely. We'll sort that out at some point. Definitely.
And that's all the questions really, unless there's any like final things you want to say.
No, not really. I am. One other thing we do have coming up on December the 16th is we got a gig, a Christmas gig at the Corporation in Sheffield, which we sort of do every year, and this one this was going to be a really big one this year, because I was actually at the corporation on Saturday night with Mike Tramp, and the tickets are selling great for that. But yeah, we got that coming up, so make sure you look out for that. And then also, like I said, there's another, I think it's 8-day UK tour in April. Obviously coming to London.
Hopefully I won't get COVID this time.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, you got it? Did you? Oh,
yeah. I don't know whether it was from the gig or the train ride up there, but yeah,
it's really bad. You're like more wary of people now than ever. But then you can't. At the same time, you can't not go out, and you can't not talk to people after the gig. So it's not good. But yeah. So the April tour, I think we'll be announcing that. I think maybe December time. I think so.
But, please tell me you're going to wear Santa hats for the Christmas show.
We definitely will, especially for you.
You better. I'm going to buy a ticket now and make sure.
All right, yeah, it's a deal. You got a deal.
Right, thank you for taking time out to come on.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome. It's been great chatting to you, and hopefully I'll see you in April. In my actually not April. I'll see you in December.
Don't wear a Santa hat in April. That's weird.
I know. Yeah. Well, I was just trying to keep you on your toes. Yeah. Get a ticket. And I'll wear my Santa hat for you.
Brilliant.
All right, Danny.
All right, Brill. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Enjoy your day. See you later.
All right, you too. See you soon. Bye bye.